Good afternoon everyone, my name is Eamon Flynn and today I'm presenting on liner shipping and port infrastructure in Australia. These sectors play a key role in how Australia moves goods in and out of the country. As an island nation, Australia relies heavily on maritime transport, so ports and shipping performance has a direct impact on trade, supply chains and the whole greater economy. Today I'll cover their economic contribution, how they're connected, and the main challenges they face, and some practical solutions. So, overview. This presentation follows the structure of my report. Firstly, I'll be talking about the economic importance of liner shipping and port infrastructure. Then I'll look at how the two sectors work together in practice. After that, I'll cover the main shared challenges, including infrastructure limitations, congestions, and global disruptions. Finally, I'll go for the solution. The key idea here is that these sectors, while closely linked, their problems usually affect each other. Economic contribution. Liner shipping and port infrastructure make a major contribution to the Australian economy. Around 99% of imports and exports are moved by sea. So maritime trade is absolutely essential. This means ports and shipping are critical to how Australia maintains access to global markets. Container shipping also supports industries like retail, construction and manufacturing. In the 24-25 year, Melbourne and Botany Bay in Sydney alone handled over 6.2 million 20-foot equivalent units, showing the massive scale of container trade in this country. Ports act as gateways, linking global trade to the domestic economy, and efficient port operations allow goods to move through road and rail networks across the country. Without efficient ports and shipping, goods will not be able to move reliably into and out of Australia, directly affecting businesses and consumers. Relationship between the sectors. These two sectors are highly interdependent. Ships rely on ports for berthing, cargo handling and turnaround, while ports rely on ships for throughput and utilisation. In practice, scheduling, berth allocation and turnaround times must be managed carefully to keep cargo moving efficiently. If coordination breaks down, congestion and delays occur quickly. Delays at the ports can also affect factory schedules and flow on to other ports in the larger liner supply network. Even small disruptions can spread beyond the port and affect the wider system, making this relationship essential to overall operations. Supply chain impact. This affects relationships. The effects of this relationship go beyond the ports themselves. When shipping or port operations are delayed, importers, exporters and consumers all feel it. Delays increase costs and reduce the reliability across all supply chains, affecting the availability and price of goods. Congestion also reduces vessel capacity and pushes freight costs higher. A good example of this is the Red Sea disruptions in the Middle East, where vessels had to reroute around the Cape of Good Hope in South Africa, adding up to 3,500 nautical miles and nearly 14 days of travel. This shows how quickly problems in maritime transport flow through the economy and affect both cost and availability of goods. Key challenges. The three main shared challenges are infrastructure limitations, port congestion, and global supply chain disruptions. These challenges are closely connected. Limited infrastructure can lead to congestion, and global disruptions increase pressure on already constrained ports. This means they need to be considered together rather than in isolation. Each challenge affects both liner shipping and port infrastructure, and each one makes the others harder to manage. Infrastructure and congestion. So one of the main issues is infrastructure capacity. Terminals face limited capacity, aging infrastructure, and limited room for expansion. This creates bottlenecks, reduces throughput, and makes it harder to handle larger vessels, sometimes at all. Congestion then becomes a major issue, with ships often waiting at anchorage to berth. This delays cargo operations, increases turnaround times, and raises operating costs. Not to mention, it affects the subsequent vessel schedules, reducing efficiency and making ship services less reliable overall. Global disruptions. So global supply chains are incredibly vulnerable to geopolitical events. The Red Sea crisis again is a great example where vessels have had to reroute around southern Africa on the Cape of Good Hope, adding up to 3,500 nautical miles and 14 days of travel. Freight rates also increased during this period. These disruptions reduce reliability and increase costs across the greater supply chain, while also placing pressure on port operations due to challenging schedules. Even though Australia can't control these greater geopolitical events, we nonetheless had to deal with it. And solutions. The most effective solutions are practical and targeted. Firstly, investment in infrastructure is great and makes a whole lot of sense because it increases capacity and it replaces the aging assets, helping to reduce bottlenecks over time. Secondly, better coordination and data sharing between stakeholders can improve scheduling and berth allocation, reducing delays without major new infrastructure. And finally, supply chains need to be more flexible so they can respond better to global disruptions most effectively. These solutions overall improve efficiency and make the system more resilient. And my conclusion. So, liner shipping and port infrastructure are essential, absolutely essential to Australia's economy. They support trade, supply chains, and the movement of everyday goods. But because they are so closely linked, problems in one sector will affect the other. It's just inevitable. The main challenges are infrastructure limits, congestion, and global disruptions, all of which reduce reliability and increase cost. Addressing these issues requires investment, better coordination, and more flexibility within our industries to maintain efficient and reliable maritime transport. And my references. Thanks guys, really appreciate it. Thank you.